A few days ago, the gaming internet did what it does best. It grabbed the provocative quote, stripped it down to its most dramatic phrasing, and launched it into orbit. An interview with Seamus Blackley began circulating across media outlets and social media feeds, and suddenly the narrative took shape that Microsoft is preparing to sunset Xbox. Not scale it back, not restructure it, sunset it, slide it quietly into the night. And the quote that fueled that fire was the claim that newly appointed Xbox CEO Asha Sharma was essentially placed there as a palliative care doctor to oversee the end. Let's start here. The idea that Microsoft is secretly preparing to shut down Xbox is absolute nonsense. It doesn't survive contact with financial reality, corporate strategy, or even basic logic. But what does deserve serious discussion is the speculation machine that took one former executive's hot take and turned it into an industry obituary within hours. And on that front, I actually agree there's a problem, just not the one being pushed in the headlines. Blackley speculated that Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella intends to sunset businesses that are not core to AI. Because Sharma previously worked in AI-focused executive role, the theory suggests she's there to phase Xbox out. It's dramatic, it's cinematic, it's also built on the assumption that Microsoft would willingly discard a division generating billions in revenue simply because AI is the buzzword of the decade. Microsoft's gaming division accounts for a meaningful percentage of the company's total revenue, roughly 7.4% in a recent quarter. That's several billion dollars. Companies do not toss aside multi-billion dollar revenue streams on a whim. Diversification is not a distraction, it is fundamental to how conglomerates like Microsoft operate. AI can be a strategic priority without cannibalizing gaming. These initiatives are not mutually exclusive. The narrative that Microsoft must choose one or the other misunderstands how large-scale corporate portfolios function. But here's where I want to insert my own opinion clearly. Speculation in this industry has gotten out of control. I agree that there is a serious problem with how quickly assumptions turn into truth. It's not just this interview, it's the broader culture. We've now reached a point where some corners of the internet are claiming Asha Sharma isn't just an AI-focused executive, but that she's literally an AI bot, that she's some kind of algorithmic plant. That's not skepticism, that's conspiracy territory. And once discourse reaches that level, we've left rational analysis behind. What's happening is that speculation is no longer treated as speculation, it's treated as evidence. A background in AI becomes proof of a secret agenda. A leadership change becomes confirmation of decline, and dramatic metaphors become accepted forecasts. That's a dangerous shift in how industry news is consumed and amplified. Now let's talk about leadership context. Sharma is not running Xbox in a vacuum. She's supported by Matt Booty, a veteran with roughly 3 decades of experience in the gaming industry and deep roots within Xbox game studios. If the goal were to quietly euthanize the brand, elevating someone with that level of industry credibility would be a strange move. Booty represents continuity and institutional knowledge. That doesn't align with a hospice narrative. For the sunsetting theory to hold, multiple executives would need to be engaged in coordinated deception. Nadia would be lying when he expresses confidence in gaming's central role in Microsoft's consumer ambitions. Sharma would be lying when she promises to protect and strengthen the Xbox ecosystem rather than chase short-term efficiency. Former Xbox head Phil Spencer would be lying when he describes the leadership transition as stabilizing and strengthening the foundation he built. Booty would be lying when he reassures teams about continuity. When a theory requires that everyone currently in charge is dishonest, while a former executive removed from the company for over 20 years is the lone voice of truth, skepticism should shift direction. And context matters here. Blackley's contributions to the original Xbox were important, but his tenure at Microsoft lasted roughly 4 years and ended in 2002. He did not work under Nadia. He did not collaborate with today's executive leadership. The company he knew is not the company that exists now. Labeling him simply as Xbox founder without clarifying that 2 decades of corporate evolution separate his experience from today's strategy creates an impression of insider authority that may not be warranted. Look at historical precedent. Under former CEO Steve Ballmer, Microsoft discontinued the long-running Microsoft Flight Simulator franchise after decades of existence. Many believed it was gone permanently. Under Nadella, it was revived and expanded into one of the most technologically ambitious projects in modern gaming. Reviving a niche simulation franchise in a shrinking genre was now an algorithm-driven move. It was a long-term investment decision that demonstrated confidence in gaming as part of Microsoft's ecosystem. That fact alone undermines the portrayal of Nadella as someone eager to abandon gaming. Now, let me pivot to something that might surprise some of you. While I reject the idea that Xbox is being sunset, I also believe Xbox could not have continued indefinitely on the exact same trajectory it was on under Phil Spencer. That's not an attack on Phil Spencer, although I have verbally attacked him many times in the past. He played a crucial role in stabilizing the brand after a difficult era. But markets evolve, competition evolves, consumer expectations evolve. If Xbox had simply maintained the same strategic direction without adaptation, it risked fading into irrelevance. And yes, I'm going to say it. If Xbox had refused to pivot and modernize, it could have ended up as relevant as the Dreamcast. The Dreamcast wasn't a bad console. In many ways, it was ahead of its time. But strategic misalignment, timing, and market realities caught up with it. Innovation without sustainable positioning can still lead to decline. So change at Xbox isn't inherently a red flag. Sometimes change is necessary to avoid stagnation. That's why leadership transitions should be evaluated on execution, not on metaphors. Sharma brings experience in scaling platforms and driving growth. Booty brings deep industry expertise. Whether that combination succeeds will depend on results, not background resumes or internet rumors. It's reasonable to be cautious. It's reasonable to demand transparency. It's not reasonable to declare corporate death based on speculation. The larger issue here is the incentive structure of modern gaming media and commentary. Outrage drives engagement. Engagement drives revenue. Dramatic narratives travel faster than balanced analysis. Once this quote suggesting Xbox is dying enters the ecosystem, it becomes a headline, then a reaction video, then a social media thread, then a widely accepted concern. Repetition creates familiarity, and familiarity creates perceived legitimacy. And this is where I circle back to my agreement about speculation being a problem. Speculation isn't inherently bad. Thoughtful forecasting has value. But speculation untethered from evidence and amplified without context erodes trust. When readers and viewers repeatedly encounter sensational narratives that dissolve under scrutiny, confidence in media declines. That's not healthy for the industry. We do not know exactly how successful Xbox will be under its new leadership. No one outside those executive meetings has a crystal ball. But calling the current team palliative care doctors sliding the brand into extinction is not analysis. It's theatrics. And while theatrics may generate clicks, they don't generate clarity. So here's where I stand. The idea that Microsoft is secretly preparing to sunset Xbox is nonsense. The culture of unchecked speculation surrounding the industry is a real issue. And the belief that change automatically equals doom ignores the possibility that adaptation is precisely what prevents irrelevance. The future of Xbox will be shaped by strategic execution, consumer response, and competitive dynamics, not by viral metaphors or conspiracy threads. If you enjoyed this breakdown and appreciate a more measured take on industry news, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. And if you want to support the channel directly, check out my Patreon, where the latest exclusive is the rise and fall of the Sega Dreamcast. Until next time, game on.